kind of look into what they really want to draft for their bottom lane in this first part of the phase. And right now, at least, it is the Lucian.
Solution, and you know, FPX showed that they couldn't really deal with the Caitlyn on blue side, or on red side rather. JDG to say, look, we're not going to chance it ourselves. They ban away the Caitlyn, and they gave themselves kind of an option to answer the Lucian Nami. The thing about the Lucian Nami though is that it doesn't beat something like a Zeri Lulu in lane. Now Yumi's gone, Zeri Lulu isn't. You can still pick towards that ruler, one of the very best Zeris in the world, and has been since the Champions release. So now you're going to be handshaking a bit more in the early game. I mean, Ruler and Missing still very proficient in the laning phase, still very much a chance that that's something like the Zeri Lulu can blast you out of that water. But hopefully this time, FPX could go towards something like that one item spike and actually playing around that. I saw that Yumi hover and I was like, oh, for pity's sake, this champion's better be gone. It is going to be that Lulu. It does come through. It's much better in laning phase versus the Lucian Nami.
Can't hurt you anymore, Nymeara. Can't hurt you. I do really like this
taken too many lives.
Yeah. It's taken too many. It's like Chucky, but with a kitty cat. Somehow cute, but also terrifying.
I've seen so many memes about that character. I absolutely know nothing about it.
You've never watched Chucky?
I know.
Oh
no, I
my god, there's so many movies.
Have to catch me up on that so we can make references about it.
I don't know if we want to because it's terrifying. It's about a doll that murders people. It's not great. So we're going to go into this draft here now.
So with that in mind, Shaco Jungle going to be locked in there.
Gotta keep going with the memes. I do really like, though, that JDG are drafting this composition, right? They are going for a very stable carry composition for themselves.
Yeah, because at this point you kind of understand that you're kind of going towards like the late game insurance. You don't have a particularly worrying jungle matchup. Yeah, Vi can get into lanes a little earlier than the with a little more force than the Sejuani. Sejuani can still, particularly if you're Ning, Ning's done a really good job with this, kind of get into lanes as well. But JDG, you know, they see the Vi locked in and they just immediately say, okay, we'll just remove some of the choice kind of mid-jungle pairings you can put towards that. Maybe you're going to lock away something like a Sylas could work out as well.
True.
Although I'd imagine that JDG could lock that in themselves, the double melee, for the melee synergy between the Sejuani and the Sylas in the mid lane themselves.
So I liked the Sejuani last time for FPX. I do still like the Vi here as well for hackers, still just trying to find that like point and click, let's kill this person and move on from that. But I do wonder how they kind of round out the rest of the composition here, as we did get that Ari, the Fiora ban as well. So Xiaolaohu won't have that to rely on. While on the other side, we get that LeBlanc ban actually towards Knight. And we'll see what the final ban is here for FPX.
Yeah. So LeBlanc did get a couple of buffs in the last patch or two. I didn't think it was enough to kind of see it be picked, but it is also Knight. Knight's played it once or twice already this split so far. I'm trying to remember if it's just the one or if it's the two. It's just the one game actually. But still, just kind of like removing some of Knight's specialty champions. Knight also had a really good game one on that Rise. Might in fact choose to leave his pick for last. You've already banned away the Fiora on that top side. There are a couple of blind picks towards that top lane. You can kind of just block it yourself. You already have that melee synergy. Jack Sejuani, more than fine. Now Xiaolaohu, who already struggled to capitalize on a winning matchup in that last game, now has to pick into that Jack Sejuani, which is significantly harder than the Gnar of last game.
It definitely is. They will just grab this Gnar into the Jax. Jax is something that I haven't actually gotten to watch at the LPL. It's banned literally every time I get to cast. And we finally do get it. 369's Jax going up against Xiaolaohu's Gnar. Going to be interested to hear what FPX's last pick will be. The blind pick mid into the counter pick for Knight.
So if you're expecting something like a Sylas coming out last, you can always go for something like that Akali, which has a pretty okay time of it. So now Knight, see the entire enemy composition, lots of mobility on the side of FPX. Lots of ability for them to engage onto you very, very happily. But you have a lot of ults to steal. That's why I was kind of looking at that Sylas pick and going like, even on pick 4, before we saw the Gnar and the Akali, that had some value to it. So Sylas to me, that would be the gold standard.
There you go.
Be locked in. And now, kind of, last game, it was kind of like the Ruler and Missing show for the early game, and they kind of controlled the map. With the help of the rest of their team kind of pushing in around them. This time, I think you're looking at solo lanes from JDG to kind of be the early game baton pass, double melee synergy with the Sejuani, and then Ruler's the late game insurance. FPX, you need to make sure that insurance doesn't really come into the factor of things. It's kind of the opposite of the last game in regards to these bot lane. FPX should be able to survive through to the one item spike in this game, but they have to use that one item spike very well before JDG start to eclipse them in terms of scaling.
Because I definitely don't see that
on the side of JDG.
Indeed, and we hit the rift for the second time of the day. It's JDG versus FPX. FPX not wanting to go down to 5 series losses in a row. They've been 2-0'd every time. They want to make this destiny a little bit different for them against JDG, who in game 1 did not give us any reason to doubt them.
I was keeping my eye on the screen this time, because in game 1 you kind of like caught me off guard. Kind of like, whoa,
there's no
crazy
wards
level
this time,
and it was a ward kill. That was it. Like, yeah. I was looking this time.
JoJo gets a lot back.
Wow, crazy big trades. Ooh, 200 HP. But Lwx and Xiaolaohu,
it's a bait.
Is Knight going to stick around for this?
It's a bait.
If they push up too far, Knight could start E and do something a bit funky. Not sure he wants to stay that much longer though. He'd have to teleport back into mid lane.
They are going to show her the core. They don't really have anything here. They connect to the JoJo. He's going to get a little bit low. He ends up flashing. That is so detrimental.
Sad.
That's both summoner spells for FPX support down.
Yeah, because now you're sat there as a lane which already can struggle versus the
And
Zeri
it was
Lulu.
so late.
Knight is going to lose what? 1 melee minion of XP for basically winning his bot lane, the laning phase, and Knight on the Sylas. He doesn't even have to wait until he steals ultimate. Level 1, the game starts immediately, and he's already kind of like won the bot side of the map for his team.
It's so
really
detrimental.
Good play from level 1.
Like, it was so close to laning that JoJo could not back. There's no way you could go. But so now you're just going into this trade with no health for both Lwx and JoJo. It's going to be so difficult. While 369 does get the little trading back and forth at top side. Gotta keep a side eye down here early on.
Because the big implication of this is now that JDG's bot lane are probably going to be fairly self-sufficient, right? They're going to be in this kind of situation where they can 2v2 very effectively. H4cker would have to commit a flash to really lock someone down. JDG can just play through their Sejuani combos on the top side because Ruler and Missing are in such a good spot. Kanavi understands this as, hey, I cleared my top side, I'm level 3, let's go mess with the enemy jungler again because we're already kind of controlling the areas of the map that we need to.
I just want to say...
Spots H4cker out. What have you got for me?
Lwx just got his first minion, it was at like 2:30.
Oh no.
Feels bad, but we gotta look back down. We're not gonna look down there right now. We're not gonna look down there. We're gonna look at a 2v2 in top side. I like that H4cker is here to respond against the aggression of Kanavi and 369, but he's got to make sure to stay up here. Gnar is falling, and now they're going in, and first blood for JDG.
Oh, this is horrifying. Turn it off. Cut the cameras. This is just not suitable for air because I love what Kanavi and 369 did there because Kanavi is like, oh, I could go towards topside or I could go towards your grub. Oh, no, I'm going towards topside. And just meant that H4cker was constantly ping-ponging between do I need to be on the turret or do I need to be in the enemy jungle kind of like fighting off Kanavi. They wait until Nymeara. There is no overestimation of JDG's abilities. They get CC into CC.
Oh, didn't hit the ball breaker flash.
Doesn't manage to get a return kill. Kanavi walks out, and now Knight has been kind of like the secondary jungler already won the bot lane. Their primary jungler has already won now the top side of the map. And JDG,
new strat the LPL, again, by the way.
You say it's a new strat. But this is okay. First up, you know, if you want to go on a tangent about that, that's legit what IG did when they won their world championship. It was literally just Rookie just kind of being another jungler and allowed Ning to be an absolute like lunatic across the map, doing his own crazy ganks just because Rookie was doing all the basics for him. Knight doing a similar factor here, and both jugglers on your screen now.
Oh no!
Killing H4cker. He doesn't have flash. He used that.
Oh no! Oh, they get back though. Look at that. They don't go down. Ruler flashing though, gets 1 kill. And he has Kanavi right there, right to back him up. JoJo in some trouble here. He gets locked down. Couple shots from the tower, though, to Kanavi. I mean, he has to back away. And we got Chaos favoring JDG here early.
I love watching JDG just stomping early games against teams that just cannot match up to them mechanically in these kind of situations. Like, Knight has control over his lane. Maybe in another game when jungler wasn't behind, when bot lane wasn't behind, the Akali can kind of control the Sylas. Not in this case. Missing, buddy, what are you doing?
Hey, he went for the flank. He wanted to feel cool, okay?
Yeah, he walks into like a full cannon wave, 1v2, takes an entire amount of damage, refuses to elaborate, dies, and Ruler's like, okay, I guess I'll try and trade one back.
So I do want to go back to some of the conversation we had as we get a potential roam here from Chocho to mid as well. But like, That bar of execution we talked about, it was there. It was looming over FPX. But at this point, it's gone back to kind of the Acme anvil over your head style where that bar of execution is seemingly running away from them. And I think JDG have just shown in both games back-to-back that you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And now maybe getting responded to.
Oh,
that's a solo.
no.
4-3-6-9 as he's rolling 9s all night.
Yeah, Nines in chat just understands that Gnar doesn't have hyper, can't run away with the move speed there, doesn't have his own leap, he can't get away from it, the hop rather, just runs him down with knowledge of cooldowns. 369 takes a really important 1v1. Now, suddenly, 2 kills on the Jax. Mid lane is already free to roam. Knight's already been first to the play ahead of Care. Bot lane, as we said, been very self-sufficient. Knight's here again, by the way. He's just killing people.
Does have the calling. LWX has the flash. He almost gets 2 kills by himself. And the golden left hand of JDG is in a chokehold onto the throats of the Phoenix.
This is what happens when, like, your Knight multi-classes into Gunslinger. He picks up the Lucian ult and starts gunning you down with it. Almost takes out both of the enemy bot laners. And again, what the heck do you do against JDG when they're on a roll like this? They are so confident playing in this early game, and they are continuing to show if you are one of these teams which has struggled in 2023, JDG is by far the hardest matchup in the LPL. It does feel like they have just managed to really just push advantage after advantage against struggling teams.
We see that continuing here, front and center against FPX 2 games in a row. Maybe they had some falters in the little mid-game of last game, but this time around they're continuing what they were, I guess, putting in work into last game as well. 2 plates down in bottom lane. They are just getting as much gold as possible. And now I just want to check in. How's your pack doing, Nymeara? You still got some goods, and we're 2 games in now. You've been eating all your munchies, or
yeah? Well, you see, I thought it'd be a bit of a longer night, so I bought the camp set, bought the bedroll and everything.
Okay.
I don't really know if I'm gonna get a chance to use it. Feels like it's just like a
whip out the s'mores right now, right?
Yeah. This feels like we're just kind of like stopping off for just like a quick trip, just kind of like saying hi to a buddy down the road rather than like going out for a real camping trip. Because
the real hike is the next leg.
To make short work of this. Yeah. maybe the trip next series. Maybe that'll require a little bit more planning in that sense.
Now we do see on the other side of the map, though, Rift Herald is being potentially positioned around by Kanavi. He does hit that level 6 bar. We got a little bit of that vision toggle showing the ward on bottom side, but Kanavi has showed up against Xiaolaohu here again. He's not even level 6 yet, but JDG actually back off as Kanavi had already taken like 3 tower shots there.
He could have led with the ult, but just decides, nah, Herald's up. There might be a fight. We'll save it for that one instead, just using to just kind of build up this wave. He could go for a redive if he wants. There's a 2-level advantage in top. 369 gets out, and again, you have Herald spawned right now. The fact that you have to use kind of these teleports to get yourself into position to just defend a dive is, again, really disastrous to FPX. JDG completely having their way with him.
All right, let's see if Care can do this. Is he going to steal it away? He doesn't. Oh, no. Then he gets flashed out. Oh, no. Here comes the rest of FPX. And Care actually makes it alive. Perfect execution, though. 369 takes him out. Get a hop, skip, and a jump. And Xiaolaohu has found himself 2 kills. Gets a wall from the Mega Gnar ulti to get Knight away from him. And you get a nice punch back from FPX.
Yeah, JDG overestimating themselves a little bit there. Not really sure he had to make it that difficult. They ended up getting down to super low HP as Kanavi was half HP, just absolutely ripe for being executed by the Akali ultimate. And JDG, a little bit overconfident towards that top side.
Lightning crash. See, oh my god, they're just so good. He's just dodging out of everything. There's nothing you can do! And we wanted to see a contested fight between LWX and Ruler. There's no contest here, Nymeara. Ruler is the ruler of bot lane in the LPL, it feels like.
You can't let this guy have Zeri. You just can't let him have it. They buy into the Lucian Nami. You understand that the Zeri Lulu can still deal with that in the laning phase. And LWX and Xiaolaohu, they have been absolutely ran through by Ruler on one of his signature champions at this point.
Coming over from Gen G last year as well after winning LCK Summer and already coming in with such big splashes that we knew we needed to see from him. And it has not only been about the team fights, it's been about the 2v2s that him and Missing have been able to take from a lot of the big bot lanes.
And like looking through that replay, you know, Ruler just sidesteps so much. It reminds me of
so dirty.
It's like, it reminds me of something like a Season 6 Faker, or just before that as well, where it feels like all you need to do to give a player like that, to give a player like Ruler on Zeri, just give him some move speed, and you're never going to hit anything on him. Like, you're sat there thinking you're going to hit something like a Tidal Wave onto him, or maybe something like an Akali E. No, it's just, he makes it so hard to just pin him down. You need to be, it feels like you need to be really point and click on that, and there wasn't nearly enough of it at that point. Ruler, once again, bring out another highlight moment for himself. Really, that level 1 play from Knight, setting up Ruler and Missing to absolutely destroy this bot side of the map. Yeah, the top side has had a little bit of gold given back over at this point. Doesn't stop that late game insurance in that bot lane, becoming suspiciously more and more mid game rather than just late game.
And I mean, you have 3 kills on 369. He's also up like 30 CS up there. Like, you have so much going for you for JDG now. They have Rift Herald down here on the bottom lane, potentially looking to crash into the 2 plates.
Kanavi? Did they not see him?
I guess they didn't.
Oh, they don't
They
know.
didn't? LWX,
no, they don't
he
know.
doesn't have cleanse, and he'll just go down. Ruler gets him as Kanavi cleans up one as well.
What do you say at this point?
He's
What
not
is
even
that
going to
left
use
to
the
say?
Rift Herald bot lane. He's like, nah, y'all don't need it. We don't, like, I see you, King.
That's the worst
I
thing.
see you.
Like, I mean, he doesn't even need to, because Ruler and Missing, they'd probably take that alone. This is actually kind of like one of the extra things about Herald, which you sometimes forget about. Normally you see this in top lane, but in bot lane, I guess it's going to happen at this point. If you're already winning lane, why make it a longer lane and like stop the laning phase happening by destroying this turret, when that's going to happen in its own right? Kanavi skirts around vision, but no, he doesn't actually. I was wondering if they saw him.
So
did they saw
him
They
there.
see him!
Initially,
They
wow.
see him! Guys,
and there's
what's
no
happening
ping.
here?
There's no pings. There's no communication.
Yeah, no health bars either after that point. This is disastrous. There are a lot of words you can use towards it. I'm not sure all of them are broadcast appropriate, because FPX, what the heck do you do after an early game like this? It feels like they're just really broken after this early game. First game, they managed to claw it back, but in this game, this was always going to be harder, right? Because the late game was going to be, in a lot of ways, more problematic for this kind of composition. You're dealing with a Jax, which will be the winning side lane. At least you had winning side lane last game. At least in the last game, you had, you know, Lucian Nami could do a bit more against the Caitlyn and Lux, maybe shut them down when they had their items. The Zeri Lulu kind of beats the Lucian Nami too in a lot of stages of the game. You had an easier time with the early game, and somehow you fared worse for it. That is incredible in a lot of ways.
And I will say something else that's incredible is just this JDG roster, right?
It's
and
keeping. You're incredible.
Hey, oh my gosh, look at you. Hey, do you come here often? But something I do find really interesting is the integration of these 2 big pieces, right? Like, Knight has come over from top esports after 4 years. That was no easy trench to dig out of, right? Ruler coming over from Gen G after that many years, right? Like, they have found the pieces they wanted to make this roster exceptional. They still have 369. They still have Kanavi. They still have Missing. It's about integrating Knight and Ruler, and they've done so beautifully.
I like how hackers are stood on the wall and they say, bet, you're not going to go for this. Q's down. Ruler Missing, just wailing away on that turret. And yeah, it feels like this roster is one of crown jewels, which might get smashed by Hacker. What can you do with this?
First, the bubble does connect. They get a little bit of damage back. Cares on the back line. Missing should go down, but engage from Knight. And the damage from Ruler. And there ain't no hope left today for FPX. And you're looking at some cindering ashes of the Phoenix.
JDG, they know everything is going to happen around this. They have the vision. They understand FPX are looking for an engage. They just don't care. They have the gold. They have the power to fight. And Ruler, seeing that Missing is going down, chooses to step forward into the fray, throws out bullet storms, which FPX absolutely cannot handle. And just as we were talking about...
It's a 10,000 gold lead now, and it's not even 15 minutes in the game.
I can't believe this. I absolutely can't believe this. This composition is meant to be not as strong in the early game as game 1. And yet they do even more with it. Again, Ruler, you kind of see that the dive is happening. They don't even manage to like finish off Ruler. Ruler's, hang on. All that CC that was meant to be onto me is gone to Missing instead. Knight goes forward as well. And these crown jewels of the JDG roster are absolutely toying with them. Like, JDG.
That leap strike does so much damage. Oh no! So that's 2 solo bolos now for 369 in this game against Xiaolaohu. And then we also just saw Lwx die again.
Yeah, not gonna lie. For all the priority that's put on this Lucian, Nami, Bell, Lwx, and Chocho, not really getting the dividends that they would like. First rotation in both of these games, and oh, this is a replay.
Oh,
Back
God,
to what happened
that's
here.
so dirty. LWX is definitely a little bit overexcited, but yeah, just good movement, good vision play from JDG
LWX
as well.
At this point, you know, he's already died to that bot lane roam from Kanavi when they already had vision of him. It feels like he was kind of like, maybe kind of giving into the pace of this game.
Hacker trying to get an engage on the Knight, doesn't really find it, has to try to get out with the ball breaker, but the Ruler guns him down again. Culling will come through. Xiaolaohu, who is here, doesn't have Mega Gnar available to him though. Damn, Ruler just doesn't take any damage there, man. Like, that was the full combo from this, like, one-item spike Lwx Jojo, and it didn't do anything to Ruler, as we do see 369 pushing down the side lane as well.
Yeah, they moved everyone down to that bot side, so you're really losing on the side lane too. And
the hit on the tower is so lackluster for this skin of Jack. It's so boring.
Yeah, Jack's hitting towers used to be like the most satisfying thing in the game, not gonna lie. Like, that was one of my favorite things with that. By the way, they're just taking down turrets on both sides. Cat, I don't think you win this fight still.
It looks real cool when you hit people with it, though.
By the way, you don't even have your mythic.
Oh my God, he wants to take it?
Oh, no,
that's another solo! No, he gets out with the Shroud. Oh my goodness, Knight wanted to finish it up. He's just like, I'm fighting whoever I see. Xiaolaohu, you have been designated. As he doesn't actually find the follow-up damage from Kanavi 369 as JDG just playing with their food a little bit here.
You know, the thing which I only realized during that last play, Kara's gone for the first time full build morale. Oh my God. Now, look guys, I understand that we had some itemization changes and we had some flat pen added to this item. Still not going to be the best thing ever. There's a fight happening again, by the way. We do that here.
Oh, there's just no hope. Like, look at that! That was 3 abilities from LWX. Ruler doesn't take any damage there. That's 2.5 items to 1.5 to JDG. They want to put the final touches on this second game and send FPX home with a 5th 2-0 loss in a row.
Pushing in towards these inhibitor towers at WX. This guy can't catch a break. Knight.
They're going for fastest game here.
They're going for the game.
I don't know if they can end necessarily. They can't get the damage out of the inhibitor tower at this point. JDG, overextended a little bit. Knight heals so much, gets the wild growth for missing as well. They're TPing 369 back in.
Like this.
JDG.
Not like this.
It's FPX that's stuck in the cage match here, and it's just bloody all over the place. The wings are being ripped up, the beak is being torn to shreds, and JDG have thoroughly punched down on FPX.
Call this Phoenix Icarus, they flew too close to the sun. JDG, this was unceremonious. We thought they couldn't end. They stick around a little longer. Fastest game of the split, and it is not even close.
18 minutes and 35 seconds in. Fastest game in the LPL spring split, and JDG make mincemeat of FPX.
How do they do this with a comp that is not meant to be as strong in the early game as their first game composition? This team, you cannot give them these laning advantages. I think serious props to me go towards Knight on his Sylas. He had a couple of awkward games on it a little earlier in the split. Uncharacteristically for Knight, because he is one of historically the very best mechanics